It's Bowden Height, actually, in relation to myself. That's my younger brother, Bowden. Just a sophomore on this Carroll team. He oftentimes will handle the courtesy running duties, as not a whole lot of game action for Bowden this year, just a couple of games in the field. 19 appearances, most of those in courtesy running chances, just a couple at bats for Bowden this season. But at the plate right now, it's Jared Hanshew, the third baseman for the Chargers. Quickly 2-0, and Hayden has had some command issues so far. Walked the first batter of the inning, put him on first base, and now quickly 2-0 to Hanshew. Coach out to talk with him. What are some of those conversations looking like for you from the point of view of a pitcher?
Yeah, when your coach comes out here in this situation, a few balls in a row, he's not happy. So, it's a lot of just nodding your head, telling him that, you're going to find the strike zone. Because, that's really all they ask for. They want you to throw strikes, command the zone. But, there's not much the team can do for you when you're not doing that.
Hayden delivers, and after the meeting, his first pitch is a strike, 2-1 to Hanshew. See if head coach Ginder wants to move the runner at first. With nobody out here in the second inning. Hanshew gives it a ride. That one's out to left field and deep. It'll get out off the fencing. Actually, it's going to bounce on top of the fencing. I don't know if it got out. I think that should be a home run.
I think that hit the black pipes out there behind left field and bounced back in. So I think that's a home run.
The umpires are going to talk it over, I would imagine, maybe. But I think there's a black fencing that backs up the actual fence. I think it's the batting cage post, or for another sport, maybe a track sport. But it backs up that fence, and I think the ball actually reached over, went over, and then bounced back into play. So Carroll will get a run on the Hanshew, what stands as an RBI double as that pitch was in. I think that was a home run, though. Jared Hanshew may have just been robbed there of a home run. Bowden Height will score from first base. A little bit of confusion there. Obviously, with our camera set up tonight here at Summit City Sports, we're not going to get a great angle at that play. It's a little dark out there in the outfield regions. But an interesting play, as that one definitely was. I think it was out, Jackson. You know this field more than I do, but
that happened to us a couple years back, and I do believe that's a home run. I can't believe the officials didn't come together and talk that over. It's kind of a dark night out there, but that's pretty clear. The ball wouldn't have bounced that way off the fence.
It was an awkward bounce for sure. The way it just kind of bounced back in and almost went over the left fielder. That's John Ummel out there in left field for the Bruins. That one just kind of bounced almost back over his head right in front of him, and he made the throw in. So an interesting play. Still leads for a run for Carroll with nobody out. And now at the plate, it's Micah Fretz, who we saw hit a home run for his own Wednesday night against Snyder. That really got the scoring for going for Carroll. They never looked back from that. Fretz gives that one a ride. If it stays fair, it's going to be a double. It will. Fair. It's fair in the left field corner. And Fretz is on his horse with a stand-up double to second. It didn't matter anyway. Hanshew's going to come around and score. And quickly it's 2-0 Carroll with Lincoln Lance up to bat. So we're at the 7, 8, and 9 with nobody out and a runner on second. Fretz and Hanshew just swapped places there. It's a 2-run lead for Carroll already. And now Lincoln Lance, who was the counterpart to the back-to-back home runs Carroll hit Wednesday night, sets in for a bunt now. He's down the first base line. Nobody's covering the bag. And Fretz is going to move up 90 feet, and Lance is on. So the inning's starting to unravel here a little bit for the Bruins.
Got some bullpen action down there, right-hander.
Already working early. This is, not what you'd expect from a pitcher like Jack Hayden so far. He's had some command issues, but 43 in the third inning, 61 strikeouts to just 16 walks for Hayden in the season, and a 2.58 ERA. Just something of the pressure we saw earlier in the game. The DeKalb game, Stahl dealt with that on the mound. Just these games feel a little bit different. There's a little bit added edge to them, and it can shake a pitcher either way. Bransfield now drops down a bunt, and nobody's covering first once again. Now a second baseman will get on it, and they'll get the out at first base. It was closer than it probably should have been, as the Northrop infield slow to recover there. The situational infield kind of a question mark right now for the Bruins, as a run does score for Carroll and moves the man at first up to second. So Lincoln Lance moves to second. Bransfield's retired for the first out of the inning for Carroll, and now they're at the bottom of the order for Connor Starkey.
As a pitcher, this is not the start you're hoping for. I mean, as you can see, the offense may come alive later, but getting into this hole mentally is a really tough thing to fight through this early in the game.
Big spot for Hayden. He can help himself working right now with going at Connor Starkey. Starts with the first pitch, swinging strike.
If he can continue to throw that pitch, he'll do well.
It was a really clean first inning, a 1-2-3 inning for Jack Hayden. Actually gave up the hit, but he only faced the minimum because the leadoff runner was picked off. As Starkey shoots that into center field. That'll get through the infield, and Lance is on his horse. He's coming home. He'll get waved home. He'll be safe in. And Carroll putting up a 4 spot right now in the second inning already. Things are getting dangerous for Northrop right now. You see the action in the bullpen. We'll see if we get a stop in time. I think we will.
Move that bad. I don't know if you.
So that'll do it already for Jack Hayden. So Carroll has chased the Northrop starter who only allowed 1 run through the entire game. Last time these two teams faced, his day is already done as far as on the mound perspective. And a new pitcher into the game. We'll get an ID on that number as soon as we can, but it's a big righty.
Funky delivery there.
Interesting delivery for the righty. That's Hayden Hetchie. So he's actually the leader in innings pitched just by two outs for this Northrop squad. 9 appearances for Hetchie, 5-1 record, 36 hits allowed, 14 earned runs, 11 walks, and 57 strikeouts. So not too much of a down notch statistically for Hetchie. He's actually got a better ERA than Hayden had. A 2.27 or 2.22 ERA. So interesting delivery. We'll see if it can kind of stop this Carroll flow, as Carroll's already batted through the order here in the second inning, and we've only got 1 out. So through an inning and a third, Carroll already starting to work it. Connor Starkey, he sits at first base. And we're back to Cam Needens, who singled in his first at-bat off Hayden. He won't face Hayden. He'll be a new pitcher facing the entire lineup for Carroll, so maybe a bit of a chess move for head coach Brumbaugh here, trying to throw off this Carroll lineup, who saw Hayden really, really well and hit him off now. Now it's almost like a new start into the game, but you're in a 4-run hole already.
Yeah, I know Northrop's hoping they can come alive with the pitching change here, but if you're Carroll, you're really going to feed off this. Anytime you can knock a starting pitcher out after 1 1/3 inning, you're feeling in a great spot, looking to see Carroll come alive even more than they already are.
Carroll oftentimes doesn't do too much to hurt themselves. I'll tell you that. From watching this team for the past couple of years just within the area, it's a really, really well fundamentally coached, sound team. They're not going to do too much to hurt you or hurt themselves. They're going to make you get every out, and that's tough when you're already down 4 runs here. But maybe a change of air here with Hetchie at the mound, on the mound now, and the top of the order back. And already a pickoff move. They got him in a pickle. It's Connor Starkey who's caught up, and he'll get tagged out. So just like that, after I kind of commend Carroll on not hurting themselves as much, Starkey looks like he might have gotten tripped up and might be injured now.
Oh,
as that was
good. As he was turning, his foot slid.
He immediately went down. He didn't move after he tried to go back to first and retreat. There's a quick turn there, and now we'll get a break. Now he's turned over, and the trainer will look at him. Hopefully he's okay. We'll take a quick break here on SummitCitySports.com. When we return, it'll be Carroll still batting here in the bottom of the second inning with 2 outs.
I was going to say
Kelly Automotive Group is simple, transparent, reliable. Simple. Our customer specialists make buying a car easy and fun. Transparent. Our price listed is the best price. No hassle, no gimmicks. Reliable. Buy with confidence and peace of mind. We work hard to ensure the best value however you shop. Choose from over 60 vehicles under $10,000. Visit drivekelly.com. The Kelly Automotive Group. Simple, transparent, reliable.
Both runners are running, play coming home.
From the crucial plays to the highlight of the game to the victory celebration, we are there. Summit City Sports isn't just a business, it's a group of companies investing in the youth of Fort Wayne athletics.
It's because of Parkview Sports Medicine, because of Kelly Automotive Group, Indiana Wesleyan University, the University of St. Francis, and Big Eye Fish, that we can produce our broadcast viewed by hundreds of thousands in Northeast Indiana.
Support Summit City Sports. Become a sponsor. Join our winning team today.
All right, so Starkey comes off and in some visible pain. We originally thought it might be a leg injury. I mean, you never want to speculate. You never want to say that from the point of view of a broadcaster. But just from what we saw, the trainer was working on his arm, so it may be an arm issue. We're not sure. Yeah. So it'll have to be a change. I believe he came out of the game. I think I heard Coach Ginder talk about the change. We'll see what happens when Carroll's out in the field, as that was the bottom of the order. Starkey was batting 9th for Carroll, so Cam Needon's the leadoff guy up to bat with the bases empty. And 2 outs here in the bottom of the second inning.
As a pitcher, getting that first out with the pickoff move. Well, the first out for him, second out of the inning. That's a real morale booster. You know, he's really feeling confident up here facing this batter.
And there's a called strike. I'll tell you what, Hayden Hetchie has a really, really nice delivery. It's not necessarily a conventional one, but it's fun to watch from the perspective of a fan for sure. Really brings the fire. You can see out on the mound. And like you said, that big pickoff move, a ton of momentum for him. As that one's fouled off, and it's going to actually stay in play, but just at that fence post near the Northrop dugout off to our right. Northrop dugout off to the right, Carroll dugout off to the left of the camera. And an 0-2 count for the leadoff hitter, Cam Needons, who actually reached his first time around and then was picked off at second base in the first inning. And he swings right through that one, so good start for Hayden Hetchie. Picks off the man on base and then strikes out the next batter. We'll go to the third inning.
He's throwing well. He's feeling good. You know, Carroll's going to have to get him out of his groove in order to keep tacking on some runs here.
Going to need to be a turnaround for Northrop, as I see head coach Ginder motion to the umpire, and we'll get a change. That means Starkey's day is done. We hope he's all right. We hope physically he's able to kind of work it back and maybe just needs the time off. We'll take a quick break here on SummitCitySports.com. When we return, we'll have top of the third action from DeKalb High School.
I wonder where that...
Parkview Sports Medicine is an integrated sports medicine team.
I mean, I always had my family behind me. I always had my team behind me, but to have staff that wanted the best for me and to get me feeling better the quickest was really reassuring.
Parkview Sports Medicine. Game on.
It may be winter, but it's never too early to start thinking about spring. Start your new year sharp and trust Kurt's Mio to power wash your home. Fair prices, superior quality, and exceptional customer service. Schedule your spring special appointment today. Additional services include concrete sealing, deck and fence cleaning, driveway replacement, and stamped concrete. Give your home the curb appeal it deserves. Just head on over to kurtzmio.com, request your virtual quote, and use the code SummitCity for 15% off today.
Welcome back to DeKalb High School. Balin Height, Jackson Pick Hans alongside me as Carroll broke that second inning open for 4 runs. It could have been more, but some trouble on the base pass kind of stalled the inning. Hayden Hetchie came in and closed things out, kept Northrop in this from a game perspective for sure. But Carroll still leads 4-0, and it's Connor Miller on the mound for the Chargers. Believe the change will push Lincoln Lance, who is in center field, into left field, and then Jacob McCullough will come in for the injured Starkey in center field. McCullough, sophomore, coming in for the senior Connor Starkey. That one shot to Bryce Ginner at second base. He comes up firing, and he gets to Micah Fretz to retire the batter.
It's a great play there. You can't really see it, but there's a big lip there from the grass and the dirt line there, right where the third baseman shortstop fields a lot of balls. That really eats people alive.
I noticed it on Wednesday night, but it's a bit of a thicker cut for sure on the infield here at DeKalb. As that one's fouled off. Almost popped fair, actually, and then rolled back foul. So we're at the 9 spot for Northrop tonight. Teron White, he's out at second base. In the lineup is the 9 hitter. That was John Ummel, who was retired just a moment ago when we came back from break. And there's a swinging strike. Actually fouled back. 0-2. Miller's working quick tonight. This definitely has a quicker pace than that first game did, even with the 4 runs scored. There was a couple runs. I mean, there was a 13-run total game last time, but Carroll works quick. It's a team that whenever you're viewing a game or watching a game, good chance to be home by dinner depending on when it starts, because Carroll's in and out just like that, and a strikeout for Connor Miller on Teron White. So Connor Miller, who has faced just one more than the minimum thus far through 3, or 2 2/3. Back at the top, Manuel Lopez.
Yeah, I've had the opportunity to see Manuel throughout the years grow through the Fort Wayne Diamondbacks organization, and umpire hit over there.
And that one hits the first base umpire. It looks like he's okay, comes up smiling. I don't know if it got him. I don't know if it got contact with him or just the way he was kind of trying to step back to avoid it. Might have lost his balance and tumbled backwards. We've had both umpires, home plate and the first base umpire. I guess there's 3 tonight, but conflict some injuries in these first 2 games. Umpires beware. It looks like he's all right as he stands up.
Tell you what, he's a great umpire, great guy. I've had him for the last 4 or 5 years. Just going up through high school, he's always a great guy, very, very, very outgoing. Great at his job.
I believe that's James Craig out there at first base tonight.
One of the better ones around.
Very vocal umpire in my time here on Summit City Sports. Just noticing the way he's talking to the kids, just kind of figuring things out.
Yeah, everybody's delighted when they see James out there in the umpire crew. Hard guy to complain to.
He was actually behind the plate Wednesday night. Now he's out in the field as all the umpires will rotate each game. This is the same crew for all 4 games. Play at third. It's going to be close at first. And Fretz with a nice pick. Retires Manuel Lopez. And Carroll's in and out of the inning just like that. 1, 2, 3 for Carroll. And they'll be back in the bottom of the 3rd frame to head up to bat. And we'll see more from Hayden Hetchie out on the mound for Northrop. So far, so good for him. I believe for Carroll it'll be Ginder, Shirk, and Coons. It'll be 2, 3, and 4 for the Chargers in the bottom half of the 3rd inning. Northrop's got to shut them down quick if they want to start making some ground on this 4-run lead for Carroll. Cannot allow at this point in the ballgame, as early as it is, for more runs to be built in and on. Pretty good crowd for the evening tonight, a Friday night, in the Northeast Indiana area. Carroll coming out of just north of Fort Wayne, north side of Fort Wayne. And Northrop, about around the same area. Pretty close schools, not too far in geographic distance, but Carroll independent for baseball, and Northrop is in the SAC, which is one of the more competitive conferences in the area. They play to that level of competition. Carroll and Northrop did face off, like we've mentioned a couple times. Once this season, it was a 1-0 victory for Carroll. So, fresh start for the Bruins. Hetchie back to face 2, 3, and 4 of the lineup. Bryce Ginner will lead things off. Ginner batting .363, 7 doubles, and 13 RBIs on the season. And Hetchie delivers. Ball's in and out.
Yeah, Bryce is a hard out to get. He's got a great eye, good bat speed. He's not going to go down easy.
Bryce will be playing collegiate baseball at Indiana Westland next season. So, still some collegiate names for Carroll this season. After last season, they unloaded a lot of Division I talent. Langston Ginder at Ball State, Riley Perlick at Wright State, and Hayden Jones, who's catching for Mississippi State. And Ginder right there, you see a 2-0 count, just takes it right up the middle. And a leadoff runner, or a leadoff batter on once again for Carroll. Now Jake Shirk back up to the plate, struck out last time after a very long, probably 8 or 9 pitch at bat with the previous pitcher for Northrop, Jack Hayden. Shirk batting .333. It's in for a called strike.
Oh, might have been a little bit of balk there.
It's in for a swing and strike potential balk there, you might have noticed.
Yeah, a little hitch before he delivered there.
Well,
umpires didn't catch that.
Hedge does have that, unconventional delivery, if you will. Might just be a part of that, but a balk's a balk nonetheless. And that one's in, slapped to the shortstop.
Double play.
He'll look for a double play ball, and Shirk will do a nice job of beating that one out. A little bit of a slow exchange there from shortstop to second base. May have allowed Shirk to reach, so he'll swap places with Bryce Ginder.
Great hustle down the line there. It's always good to see guys running out ground balls.
Next up for Carroll, number 21, Sebastian Kuhn.
Jake Shirk not in the field today for Carroll. He pitched Wednesday night. Performed excellent. 7 innings pitched, just the 1 run given up on 3 hits and 12 strikeouts for Jake Shirk. Leads the team in strikeouts. He can really throw them up on the scoreboard. As that one's in, and I don't know if it went off the bat or may have went off Sebastian Kuhn's. I'll say it didn't. I think it just was a dead ball. They'll call it a strike. It actually might have went off the bat as a foul ball. Kuhn's might have thrown a half swing. It's hard to see from our spot up here in the press box. Nonetheless, we'll pick things back up. 0-1 the count to Coons. Runner at first is Jake Shirk, 1 out. Etchy delivers, throws it in there. Another close pitch. That one's out, doesn't get contact with the bat. I think that was similar to what happened last pitch, for the foul ball. Northrop just the 1 hit, Carroll with 5. No errors charged to either team. That one's in for a called strike, 1-2. Now, Jackson, you may know the answer to this question. The winner of the the semifinals will play the championship. How is home and away determined? Is it coin flip in the championship game, or is it predetermined in the drawing? You might not know. I don't know.
I want to say it's
that one.
Well, I can
fell off
find
right to
this
the bus.
question out right now. Coach Murdoch, how's the home team?
So it's predetermined, we just found out, in the bottom of the bracket. So it would be Carroll in this case. So DeKalb would be away once again on their host field. And Carroll would stay home as they are right now, or Northrop. Depending on the conclusion of this game, still plenty of baseball left to be played.
It's a weird feeling to play on your home field as the guest team on the scoreboard.
I believe Carroll won the sectional last year as the away team, I believe.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's definitely got to be a different feel for the players on the field. I mean, I'm sure you've experienced that in the last 4 years being here. It's the sectional 5 is always hosted. DeKalb or Carroll, it's interchanging every year. So, unlike basketball where it normally rotates every location of a team in that sectional, just 2 fields for sectional number 5 here in Northeast Indiana area as Sebastian Coons takes the walk and works it down to runners at first and second for Carroll. Jared Hansch will be up to bat, and the courtesy runner will come in for the catcher, Sebastian Coons. It'll be Bowden Height once again in to run for Coons. One out, runners at first and second. Jake Shirk, the DH, and Bowden Height, the runners in them. And Jared Hanshew at the plate. First pitch Hanshew sees is low. Now, Shirk is pretty quick. Height's got some speed as well. I wouldn't be surprised to maybe see a double steal here with just the one out. Try to move both the runners into scoring position. And that's in for a strike. 1-1. And that one's in, fouled off for strike number 2. Try to get some scores from those sectional games at Huntington University, today in the Huntington North sectional, as those are also taking place right now. Homestead taking part in those. And Jared Hanshew strikes out on Hayden Hetchy's pitch. That was up, and he couldn't get a piece of it. Nice strikeout there for Hetchy. He keeps the runners at first and second with 2 outs. Dangerous hitter, though, here at Micah Fretz. We've seen that in this sectional so far. Fretz went on a bit of a slump earlier in the season, but has broken out of it since. 260 hitter on the season, 3 home runs, leads the team in that category, and 19 RBIs for Fretz.
It's a huge strikeout for the pitcher there to get some help when you're throwing some pitches outside of the zone.
First pitch called strike to Fretz. And Fretz is in there. Swinging right through that one. Hetchy's looked good these last 2 batters, I'll tell you what. 0-2 here on Fretz would be a huge strikeout, or just an out in general, to get Northrop through this inning, which is runners at first and second, and no runs scored. Pitches in there, delivers, and Fretz swings right through it, so back-to-back strikeouts for Hayden Hetchy out on the mound. And Northrop's got a bit of life as they'll come in for their at-bat in the top of the 4th inning. We'll take a quick break here on SummitCitySports.com and return 4th inning action from DeKalb High School.
Parkview Sports Medicine is an integrated sports medicine team. We're treating injuries when and where they happen and working to prevent them before they do. We believe the best care is coordinated care, helping ensure you get the individualized services you need every step of the way, offering innovative treatment techniques to get you or the athlete you love back in play. Reaching higher, pushing further. Parkview Sports Medicine. Game on.
The classroom only gets you so far, so they're setting you up with an internship. I had a mentor that they set me up with that was a CEO of a DuPont hospital in Fort Wayne. They offer degrees in accounting, business administration, risk management and insurance, marketing, and finance. You know, they just did a great job of the full circle of not only the education but also the experience.
Welcome back to DeKalb High School, where Carroll leads Northrop 4-0. The wind is starting to blow in here a little bit more. There is some rain expected in the area. As I mentioned earlier in the first game, possibly in that 10 to 11 window. We'll have to check the radar and kind of be wary out here at DeKalb High School. But clear skies so far. There is rain in the forecast tonight, as that is shot right back to the pitcher. And easily retired. I believe that was Jacob Jordan. As Connor Miller makes a nice stab out on the mound to retire him. So now it'll be Jack Hayden, who started this game off on the mound for Northrop. And he's no longer in the game as the pitcher, but in the game up to bat. So Miller now will throw it in for a ball. It looked pretty close, but no nudge by the umpire, and it's 2-0 on Hayden. As Hayden gives that one a ride. That one's to left field. That might get out. It will. A home run for Jack Hayden and a little bit of life for Northrop. 4-1 will be the score. Nice piece of hitting there for Hayden. Taking it and shooting it over the left field fence. As a solo home run for him. So the scoreless streak for Connor Miller against Northrop ends there. As Miller had shut them out earlier in the season, 6 2/3 innings. The shutout ends right there. So Jack Hayden puts Northrop on the board. They've got 2 hits now. And another big power threat in Jackson Foote up to the plate. Northrop, the dugout definitely has a little bit more life than what we saw earlier on. I'll say that. Yeah, as that's in and low for a ball. 2-0 now, quickly to Jackson Foote. Foote batting .333 on the season. 30 RBIs for him. And that's in for a strike, so 3-0 pitch in for a strike. Now I say it again, I said it earlier, this wind really starting to blow in here at DeKalb High School as we get another strike, moves the count to full. I don't know what the official ruling would be in the event of a rain delay or a weather problem, as it's already late as it is. It's a Friday night, so no school tomorrow for either of these two teams, as Connor Miller able to retire. Jackson Foote, nice work from the Carroll infield there for the second out of the inning. But I don't know if it would be considered a suspension of play, just as they do in the MLB sometimes, and the game would be moved to tomorrow and then be picked up from the fourth inning, whatever situation it's in the event of a rain delay. Obviously no rain yet, but just speculation. Grant Hirschberger, the first baseman, now up to the plate for Northrop. Hirschberger batting just over 300, 304, and he shoots one up into right field, and it should be a play as center fielder, actually Jacob McCall, will speed in and make the grab. So Carroll averts any trouble there after the solo home run from Jack Hayden. Northrop able to draw some blood, but still trail by 3 when we return right here on SummitCitySports.com.
Parkview Sports Medicine is an integrated sports medicine team.
I mean, I always had my family behind me, I always had my team behind me, but to have staff that wanted the best for me and to get me feeling better the quickest was really reassuring.
Parkview Sports Medicine. Game on.
It may be winter, but it's never too early to start thinking about spring. Start your new year sharp and trust Kurt's Mio to power wash your home. Fair prices, superior quality, and exceptional customer service. Schedule your spring special appointment today. Additional services include concrete sealing, deck and fence cleaning, driveway replacement, and stamped concrete. Give your home the curb appeal it deserves. Just head on over to kurtzmio.com, request your virtual quote, and use the code SUMMIT.
Welcome back to DeKalb High School. Here in the bottom of the fourth inning as Carroll leads Northrop 4-1. Earlier we heard from Jackson Hotz, who played 4 years here for the DeKalb Barons, now finds himself at North Central in the Chicagoland area, Division III school. Very prominent in the Division III division, I guess. We'll start things off here with Lincoln Lance. So it'll be 7, 8, and 9 for Carroll. Bransfield will follow Lance, and I believe Jacob McCullough will come in to hit for the injured Connor Starkey as he took his position out in the field. We'll see if they keep him in the lineup. First pitch, Lance sees he fouls off back behind the plate. Hayden Hetchie is not allowed a run yet in this Carroll lineup. He's actually done a really, really good job navigating them his first time through. As a 1-2-3 inning here would put him through the Carroll lineup for the first time. Actually, take that back. Lance in Bransfield would navigate himself through the lineup for the first time. That one's out for a ball, 1-1. And Lance fouls that off, now 1-2. Definitely a nice evening without the rain for sure for sectional baseball here in the state of Indiana, as postseason play is in full swing. Mentioned one of the bigger upsets in the area, not in the area, but in the state, I should say. Center Grove, who was the Prep Sports Baseball #1 as Lance is retired via the swinging strikeout, actually was defeated by Whiteland in the Wednesday night matchup. So here in the state of Indiana, everyone makes the postseason, and there is no seeding within the sectionals. I know it's been a widely discussed topic in basketball as well as in football, but baseball a little harder to quantify who's better than who based on record, because typically teams are from all over that are kind of grouped into these sectionals and oftentimes aren't even found in the same conference. As now the hitter is Eddie Bransfield. But back to the grouping of sectional teams and kind of who's the 1 seed and who's the 2 seed. There's just really no great way of doing it. So the best way of doing it is a random draw. In this situation, Carroll and Snyder found themselves on the short end of picking the straws, I guess is what you would say, because they had to play that game Wednesday night. So the #1 pitcher for both teams had to go. And Bransfield takes a called strike on a count 1-2. So Connor Miller, although he's pitched really well tonight, isn't actually the Chargers' typical #1 pitcher, their best guy they would want to throw out there. Not saying Miller's not a good pitcher, just Jake Shirk is really, really good as well, and he's who went Wednesday night. So Bransfield strikes out, back-to-back swinging strikeouts for Hetchy, and he has really found a groove out there on the mound. Setting down this Carroll lineup his first time through. So now the sophomore Jacob McCall will step in for Starkey, who was injured as he got caught up on the base pass and was pulled out of the game due to injury, so we hope he's okay. And the first pitch McCullough sees, I'll say it hit him in the back, and he'll run to first base. So Chargers with a little speed in McCullough at first base, and 2 outs here. We'll look to start something. First runner of the inning allowed for Hetchy. McCullough 4 for 6 on stolen base attempts this season, so he has been able to run a little bit when he's seen play, but he replaced the speedy Starkey, who was 10-11 for stolen base opportunities. So both those guys can run in the 9 spot as we flip the lineup over for Carroll. Cam Needens now steps up to the plate. Needens singled in the first inning, then was picked off at second base. He's batting .354 on the season in the lead-up spot. That one's in for a called strike. Hatchie just needs to worry about the batter at the plate in Needens with just 2 outs, not a whole lot of damage. McCullough can do on the base passes. That one takes an awkward bounce, but no trouble for the shortstop, as I believe, not quite sure what the number was on the out there at shortstop today. I think they got switched around earlier in the pitching configuration, but nonetheless, nice pick and play and smart move to step on second to retire the runner. And we'll head to the top of the 5th inning, where Carroll still leads 4-1 here on SummitCitySports.com. Both runners are running, play coming home.
From the crucial plays to the highlight of the game to the victory celebration, we are there. Summit City Sports isn't just a business, it's a group of companies investing in the youth of Fort Wayne athletics.
It's because of Parkview Sports Medicine, because of Kelly Automotive Group, Indiana Wesleyan University, University of St. Francis, and Big Eye Fish, that we can produce our broadcast viewed by hundreds of thousands in Northeast Indiana.
Support Summit City Sports. Become a sponsor. Join our winning team today.
Welcome back to DeKalb High School. I'm Balin Height here for SummitCitySports.com as Carroll has a 4-1 lead over Northrop through the first 4 innings of tonight's ball game. Carroll, the home team, on the scoreboard. Northrop, the away team, in the brown, and Carroll, once again, in the home whites. Winner of tonight's matchup has a Monday Memorial Day date at 11 a.m. with DeKalb, who defeated East Noble 7-6 in an extra inning thriller just an hour ago here at DeKalb. So the host school will make the sectional championship for, I believe, what is the 3rd straight year. So Northrop looking to reclaim. Nice play by Connor Miller out there on the mound once again. And he'll underhand it to Micah Fretz, who makes the play. I'll tell you what, Connor Miller, for just a sophomore, coming out here in a semifinal game, winner go home, has really looked composed. Just gave up the 1 solo home run to Jack Hayden, just 2 hits. I believe he's only got 1 strikeout, but the composure for just a sophomore to come in here and pitch the way he's pitched, similar to Eric Aimke, who pitched for DeKalb and kind of shut things down for them in game number 1, really speaks volumes of some of the sophomore talent we have in the Northeast Indiana area. That's in and out for a ball. Hayden Hetchy now into bat, so he's been placed in the lineup since coming into the game as a pitcher. And it's 2-2. Slow roller to the shortstop Bryce Gender, who comes up and makes a strong throw to retire Hetchy. That ball really just died in the infield grass. Didn't get a whole lot of roll to it, but the second out of the inning for Carroll.
Next up for Northrop, number 9, John Hummel.
Northrop looking to return to the sectional championship. They were defeated by Carroll last year in the sectional championship, so these two teams meet. Tough play for Jared Hanshew at third and had to fumble with it. Now it's into the foul ground territory out beyond first base. Coons will chase the ball all the way there out into the Northrop bullpen. So a single, I'd say a 2-base error actually.
Next up for the Bruins, number 4,
allows Northrop to get a runner in scoring position and stops Connor Miller's rhythm and flow for at least right now. Teron White now up to bat. That was John Ummel who reached for Northrop. So it'll be Teron White, the 9-hitter for Northrop, up to bat. And that one strike back foul into the Carroll dugout just below us. Up top here on the DeKalb press box. Teron White was struck out his last time through. So they'll give an error to Carroll. So 2 errors for Carroll, a little bit uncharacteristic of this Carroll Charger team. And Teron White pops that one up in the left field. It's going to come in. It's going to be a tough play to make. And nice diving stop from Lincoln Lance, who started the game in center field and had to come over and play from left field with an awkward little tumble, but able to come down and make the grab. And a nice one at that. Keeps Northrop off the board here in the top of the 5th inning, and Carroll will have their at-bats in the bottom of the 5th. We'll keep it here, actually, as we still try to chase down those scores from the other sectional. As we look, try to get some scores here for you. Internet has been a little bit troublesome here out at DeKalb High School. Our Jetpack not getting the reach it typically gets in the Fort Wayne, Indiana area. But we're doing the best we can with what we've got. So Carroll coming through. I believe it'll be Ginder, Shirk, and Coons. It'll be 2, 3, and 4 for Carroll in the bottom of the 5th inning. And Hayden Hedgie still on the mound for Northrop. As there we get now a score. So Homestead defeats Northside 12-2 in the first game. We'll get a look at the bracket, actually, of that sectional. That's the IHSAA sectional number 6. And we're still awaiting a score from Fort Wayne, Southside, and Huntington North. That game's being played right now. So we are guaranteed at least one Fort Wayne Indian area team in a sectional championship. We're going to be guaranteed another one at the conclusion of this game, whether that's Carroll or Northrop. That's to be determined. But it sure would be nice to get a couple of Fort Wayne teams to the Lafayette Regional, as that's where the Sectional 5 and Sectional 4 meet. They'll play on the outer sides of the bracket if we get there against the Noblesville and I believe the Zionsville sectional. But do not quote me on that one. That is not 100% sure. As Bryce Ginner swings right through that one, count moves to 1-2. It's starting to be a bit of a hassle here out at Northside, or out at DeKalb, excuse me. I'm looking at the Northside record. So number 12 in the state, Carroll advances, and Bryce Ginner gets plunked there. Carroll, leadoff batter, now on base at first for Jake Shirk, the 3-hitter for Carroll. Homestead at 12 in the final PBR baseball regular season standings or rankings, top 25 4A schools. Carroll at 11, Homestead at 12, and DeKalb, who's a team we will see in the championship on Monday, in it just at 25. That one in for a called strike. 1-0-1. Jake Shirk will go down for the bunt. They'll say he went, and then the throw to first is lofted into right field. That'll allow Ginder to get in safely at second. And nobody on, or one runner on and nobody out. The Chargers have a runner in scoring position for Jake Shirk. So a throwing error by the catcher, Jackson Foote. Shirk steps in, count 1-1. Now we got a little bit of a stoppage. I'm not quite sure what the runner at second and Bryce Ginder, and that one pops low. Now Ginder's going to take off running as that ball got way away from Foote. Just took an awkward bounce and kind of scooted forward into no man's land between him and the pitcher Hayden Hedgie. Count goes to 2-2, and Bryce Ginder, is in at third. So nobody out. And a ball to the right side of the field would probably score Carroll its 5th run. Score it in multiple ways as Jake Shirk is set down on strikes and swings through that one. Nice piece of work there from Hayden Hedge on the mound.
Next up for the Chargers, number 21, Sebastian Kuhn.
Now the 4-hitter Sebastian Kuhn steps in for the Chargers with one out here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Carroll looking for insurance runs. Northrop looking to keep him off the board and try to give themselves a chance as that one skates past the backstop. Wild pitch scores Bryce Ginder. And Carroll has its 5th run of the ball game. Base is empty for Sebastian Coons now. And a 1-0 count. And that's a swinging strike, just popped out of the mid of foot. Kind of an interesting turn of events here, as the game has definitely slowed down just a bit. I don't know if that's intentional or just the way both these pitchers have worked, but I felt like it was a really rather quick pace, even with the 6 runs that have been scored between the two teams. And now we'll get a stoppage in play. The first base umpire is going to talk to the home plate umpire, and they're going to figure something out. I'm not quite sure what they're discussing. Maybe it was the nature of that pitch, if there's something in the delivery, or there's something they're not quite seeing. Now we're going to get a look from Coach Brumov. I think Coach Brumov was asking a question or challenging something potentially. Just wanted the umpires to look at. And they'll get an explanation, but we got count 1-1. So nothing really changes after the meeting between the umpires. And we're right back to square one as far as where we started. Sebastian Coons at the plate, swings through that pitch from Hayden Hetch. Nice little move there from Hetch. He's done an excellent job. Just that one run where Bryce Gidner came home on the passed ball is all he's allowed since he's been on the mound. Carroll struck for 4 runs in the bottom of the second frame. And it's been rather quiet since this inning. As Sebastian Coons swings through that and is retired. So back-to-back outs via the strikeout for Northrop. Jared Hanshew now up to bat in the 5 spot for Carroll. Northrop needs runs. Carroll needs some insurance runs. That one's in for a called strike. I'll tell you what, on the mound, Hayden Hetch has been excellent. More of an unconventional delivery, as we talked about, but really gets into it and really winds it in there to pick up the velocity. A little bit of a breaking ball there. Is low, 1-1. That one's in and out. Ball 2, 2-1 the count. I'll tell you what, just looking at the feed in here, the field looks really, really great under these lights. This is the first time we've had a night game on SummitCitySports.com. Actually, it's the only time of the year we do have night games, because most of the time these games are during the week and they're when school's going on. So oftentimes the games are placed at starting times around 5 o'clock. And we have some early nights, not a whole lot of lights needed, but it does look good under the lights tonight for sure. That one's in for a strike. 2-2, or full count, excuse me, on Jared Hanshew, and Hayden Hetch has a chance to strike out the side here. He winds that one in there, and Hanshew lines it in to the gap between center field and left field, just in front of the center fielder. It's actually Jack Hayden out there in center field now for the Bruins. So Carroll not done yet in this inning. Micah Fretz up to the plate. We saw him smack one over the fence Wednesday night against Snyder. He's hitless tonight. Actually, I take that back. Fretz had the double his first time through, excuse me. And he rips a swing at that one, shoots it foul down the third base line. Count goes to 0-1. 6 hits for Carroll, 2 for Northrop, 2 errors for Carroll, 1 error charged to Northrop. That 1 error allowed Bryce Gidner to come around and score from third and add on to the lead of 1-5 or 5-1. As Fretz swings right through that one. Count rolls to 0-2. Edge delivers, and that one's up and out. Looking to retire all 3 outs of this inning via the strikeout. He's had some bumps within there, but the 2 outs of this inning did come on the strikeout. He's got a chance to get Fretz as he's ahead 1-2. Fretz fouls that one back and stays alive. Very, very vocal Carroll dugout. I'm sure we're picking that up. As our natural sound mic is just placed above the dugout here at DeKalb as Fretz shoots that into the hole at shortstop. It'll be a tough play if he can beat it out. And the ball's on the ground. He's safe. And Handshoe looking to get a little greedy and go to third. I don't know if Coach told him to run there or if that was, it looks like Coach sent him on that one. As head coach Ginder kind of came up to him and gave him the bump. Looking to get a runner on third, maybe try to send him home the next time around, but they won't get it, and they're hung up on the bases as we'll head to the top of the 6th inning, Carroll leads 5-1 over Northrop here from DeKalb High School.
The Indiana High School Athletic Association is proud to salute our
Parkview Sports Medicine is an integrated sports medicine team.
I mean, I always had my family behind me, I always had my team behind me, but to have staff that wanted the best for me and to get me feeling better the quickest was really reassuring.
Parkview Sports Medicine. Game on.
It may be winter, but it's never too early to start thinking about spring. Start your new year sharp and trust Kurt's Mio to power wash your home. Fair prices, superior quality, and exceptional customer service. Schedule your spring special appointment today. Additional services include concrete sealing, deck and fence cleaning, driveway replacement, and stamped concrete. Give your home the curb appeal it deserves. Just head on over to kurtzmio.com, request your virtual quote, and use the code SummitCity for 15% off.
Back to the top of the 6th inning, Carroll leads Northrop 5-1, now joined by DeKalb head coach Tim Murdoch. DeKalb with the big come-from-behind victory and the extra inning victory. The game previously, they'll face off against the winner of this game, so watching closely, I'm sure, as coach for the championship game on Monday. Coach, overall, kind of an up-and-down game from your perspective. What'd you see?
Well, Balin, thanks for having me on. It was, our team's been pretty resilient all year, and, a lot of back-and-forth games like that, and the kids just don't get rattled, and it's really nice to see.
It was an interesting take, especially from a team like East Noble, only 5 wins on the season. Kind of an up-and-down season for them, but in postseason play, everybody's at 0-0 as far as records go. And at one point, trailing by 5 runs there, some errors in the infield, a little bit of self-inflicted a wound there, if you will. But definitely the guys fought back. What I liked from Emke on the mound was he just kind of came in and really was a boulder for you guys. wasn't moving a whole lot. Then he ends up getting the game-winning single in the 8th inning as well. But a lot to build on from that game. And from a coach's perspective, what are you looking for between these two teams? I'm sure you've seen these teams early in the years. You know these are sectional teams as well. But just in person, what are some of the things you guys are looking for as coaches?
Just kind of trying to look for a little edge somewhere. These two teams are coached so well. Coach Brumbaugh and Coach Ginder, just the class of Northeast Indiana, and they just do, among others, they just do a fantastic job. But just trying to pick up on little things, and maybe gain a small advantage. But you still got to go out and play it. Still got to go play the game. You still got to play well. Got to minimize errors. Still got to throw the ball over the plate. So not sure too much can be gleaned from this.
1-2 count here for Connor Miller out on the mound, who's done a really good job at navigating this Northrop lineup. Manuel Lopez up to the plate for Carroll. You guys are winners of the NE8 this year. I mean, what is it for you to take from that and build into postseason play?
Yeah, I mean, our goal every year is to win 20 games. Our goal every year is to win the conference, and to get better in pressure situations. With conference games on the line, you play a couple close conference games. We really feel that type of atmosphere and that type of those situations will help us in tournament play as well.
That one's fouled back. Manuel Lopez really making an at-bat here. Now, I'm going to ask you about a situation that happened in the game. You probably know where I'm going with this. From your perspective, what were you told? It was kind of hard to see up here. It was batter interference, I believe they called it, and the runner was called out at second. What was the confusion? What was the problem? Not necessarily maybe any negative from it, just for perspective to better and take it from here.
Right. I was a little confused. They called batter interference, which means the actual base runner was out, and then the batter who interfered would bat the next inning since it was the third out. He just claimed that our batter got in his way. I mean, it was a pitch that was up and in, and the catcher didn't catch the ball to begin with. But these umpires, they really do a good job overall, and they really have a tough job. It's a thankless job, and they're expected to be perfect and then be better tomorrow. So as far as that goes, I was just proud of our kids for not using that as an excuse, and because they very easily could have, because we had some pretty good momentum right at that time, and we would have had a guy on second. But
it was definitely some momentum building. I'll tell you what I saw from my perspective up here. It looked like Novak's helmet had come off. Now, I thought originally the ball might have came and hit him off the front, and it just maybe came loose, and when he turned around, it lost. But maybe that's where the contact was in the head region. Maybe that's why his helmet came off. I was confused immediately because I thought it was going to be runner. I thought he was calling the runner safe at second, and they were going to move the batter up to first because it was a hit. I thought it might have been a hit by pitch originally from this point of view. But an interesting situation. It's something we see. You mentioned the umpires at the thankless job. They got to move on from it, and your kids responded great. They came back. It ended up really didn't affect the game too much in that spot in time. So, yeah, it was just one of those interesting situations that from our point of view, it's interesting to hear it from the coach's point of view. And I think it was handled the right way overall. And, the game went on without it. That's at the end of the day, the game moves on. So, runners at first for Northrop, looking to put on some type of rally here. Down 4 to Carroll as they're starting to run out of outs. Guys have a great class of sophomores just coming in. I haven't seen DeKalb being from the Fort Wayne area. You don't get a whole lot of DeKalb baseball down there, just being around here on our broadcast. But your guys' sophomore class is outstanding from a statistic point of view coming in, and then actually getting to see some of those guys play today. Really something to build on. And what do you guys try to develop when kids come into the program here from the middle schools and then eventually until their senior year?
Right. Athletic director Chris Rhodes, he coached before me. I coached on his coaching staff for several years, and he just did a fantastic job of developing programs in the off season for young kids. Across the streets, the CCC where they have indoor cages and things, and he got a lot of programs going over there in the off season for young kids, and we're starting to see those kids starting to trickle into the high school now, and it's really a community effort. And our Auburn Little League is we've got a lot of really good coaches at Auburn Little League, and those are good feeder programs for us.
Now than ever in high school sports has it become evident that it's huge in any sport, not just baseball, to develop those feeder programs, to develop those kids from a younger age to stay in the system and move through the system and grow in the system. And I think that's been a really important, and that's a good factor, and that's why you're seeing a lot more nowadays in all sports, younger kids starting to make an impact, whereas before it was typically just upperclassmen. Not the case anymore.
Yeah, that's true. It is pretty much all sports.
And that's a swinging strike, and it'll be called out. So Jacob Jordan will go down on strikes, and Northrop will get a man in scoring position. So the first out of the inning for Carroll. And Manuel Lopez now stands in at second with Jack Hayden up to bat, who his last time around slapped one over the left field fence for a solo home run and the lone run for the Bruins tonight. Just 3 hits for Northrop. And he sends one back that way. That's got some distance. I don't know if it'll get over off the light pole, and they'll call it a home run. So back-to-back home runs in back-to-back appearances for Jack Hayden. And he couldn't get it done quite well on the mound for Northrop, I should say. But he's working his team back into this one with the bat. Wow. A 2-run shot, his second straight of the game. And Northrop trails just by 2, 5-3 here in the top of the 6th inning. And now we've got time, and head coach Ginder will walk out to the mound and talk things over with the pitcher. We'll see if we get a pitching change. Now remember, Carroll threw their number 1 and Jake Shirk Wednesday night, so as far as he's unavailable as far as pitching goes per IHSAA rules. I don't know what the depth would look like behind Connor Miller, for Carroll tonight. Just one out, bases are empty. But what a shot for Jack Hayden. And Northrop has some life. The fans have come alive, the dugouts come alive, and they're not done yet. Jackson Foote now up to the plate. Still need base runners, though, down 2 just with the 1 out. I'll ask you, I don't know if you were here earlier, or watching at least, I think it was the second inning, I believe Jared Hanshoot knocked one over the fence. It looked like it ricocheted off the fence posts that are backed up to the left field fence and then came back into play. I talked to Jackson Hansen. He says he remembers a situation similar to that and when he in his playing time here, and I just thought it was interesting. And then you see that one ricochet off the foul pole. Obvious home run in that situation, not so obvious in that situation, but it's just kind of a difference of the field playing here out at DeKalb.
Yeah, I believe Brandon Dunham hit that a couple seasons ago, and it ricocheted over and landed in front of the scoreboard in the field of play, and it was declared it was not a home run.
Not a home run.
Pretty sure it might have gotten over, but
similar situation out there. But just the way it ricocheted back in, it almost landed in front of the left fielder coming back over the fence. So not ruled a home run. Carroll still came around to score, or Hanshoe still came around to score in the inning. So no harm, no foul there. But it was just an interesting play as it's a 2-2 count quickly to Jackson Foote. Carroll looking to work their way out of this if they can and leave Northrop here. They'll head to the bottom of the frame with a chance to add some more on and then try to shut out Northrop. As that one's in and called a ball, full count. So Northrop, after just having 2 hits and the solo home run as their lone run, Jack Hayden doing some more. As Connor Miller gets a big strikeout there of Jackson Foote, sets him down for the second out of the inning. 4 hits for Northrop, 7 hits for Carroll, a 1 error for Northrop, and the 2 errors for Carroll. And the first pitch is fired to second base. Cam Needs will make the play and retire him. Well, Coach, I appreciate you joining me. Best of luck Monday. We'll see you back here Monday.
Thanks for having me.
It's been a fun one.
Thanks for covering the sports.
Yep. That was head coach Tim Murdoch with the DeKalb Barons. They got the 7-6 victory earlier in the first game of this doubleheader. They are looking to face the victor of the first 2 games. And we'll head to the bottom of the 6th inning. And things are going to start to get tense here out at DeKalb High School. This game suddenly 2 runs closer. Hayden Hedge has really come in and shut the door offensively for Carroll. Just the 1 run across since he's been in the game. But what Jack Hayden gave up, he has tried to take back for sure. A solo home run for him and a 2-run shot that brought Northrop within 2.
Leading off the bottom of the 6th for Carroll, number 11, Lincoln Lance.
Lincoln Lance will step in for Carroll. 7, 8, and 9 now for the Chargers, as they'll look to add some more in the bottom of the 6th inning here before heading to the top of the 7th and try to shut the door on Northrop. Northrop will try to hold him and keep it at 2 runs. as Jack Hayden has really done the damage. And Lance shoots the first pitch he sees up into kind of no man's land out in right field. But the right fielder ranges in and makes the play. Nice job, and quickly retires the first out for Carroll. Carroll has not had a whole lot going offensively. A couple single shot here and there, but nothing big. Now Eddie Bransfield in the game. Bransfield made a nice grab out in right field earlier in the game to save a run. His first pitch he sees is a ball from Hetch. 10:27, late night here in the Northeast Indiana area. Rain expected to start rolling in here in this 10 to 11 window. At least the forecast was shown before the broadcast started. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we haven't reached that threshold yet. And the rain can hold off here with the inning and a half we have after this. That one's out for a ball, 2-1. Bransfield steps in now, count 3-1, excuse me. He takes that pitch and shoots it into left field for a single. So just as I was saying, Carroll hasn't had a whole lot of hard contact or anything offensively. Bransfield takes the first pitch he sees and sends it to left field. So now we'll get a pinch runner in for Eddie Bransfield. That's Bowden Height coming in. I believe that would move Height into right field as he takes Bransfield's spot. Bransfield not the DH or the pitcher or the catcher, so not a courtesy runner in this situation is Bowden Height. He's inserted into the game. He'll be at first. A little bit of speed over there for Bowden at first. It's the 9th hitter, Jacob McCullough, who came into the game for the injured Connor Starkey, who started the game in the 9-hole. Take a look at the base running. Bowden Height, 8 for 9 on stolen bases. And the first pitch we see from Hetch is out for McCullough. I'll tell you what, this is not a spot you want to be in if you're head coach Brumbaugh. With McCullough at the plate and Height on first base, these two have been tearing up the base pass since early travel ball days. I remember watching Jacob, as I said, Bowden, the younger brother. I've seen a lot of these sophomore, freshman age kids from Carroll in their travel ball days earlier on. And it's two kids who can run. It'd be a tough situation to set up with just one out here. You really got to make sure you get McCullough at the plate. And we're going to Hatch is making sure that the infield is set the way it needs to be. Wouldn't want a error here, allowing an extra run, as every extra run is precious to Northrop's clock. If they're going to try to get back into this one in the top of the 7th, as that one's in for a strike, 1-1. Check in on Height at first. Hetch delivers, and it was a bunt attempt for McCullough. He'll pull it back as the pitch was out, 2-1. Call looking for his first hit. I mentioned he was inserted into the lineup after Connor Starkey went down after reaching, and McCullough swings through that one. Hard swing. Nice pitch there from Hetch. Puts the count 2-1. 1 out and a runner on first. Carroll would like to get McCullough on and then turn the lineup over back at the top as he stays alive and fouls that one off. Count goes to 2-2. McCullough hits that one. That's going to be out into right field. There'll be no tag from Height as he'll be forced to go back to first. And nice job there by Hetch of getting the call to fly out before we turn back over to the top of the Carroll lineup. And the leadoff hitter, Cam Needon's up to plate.
Next up for Carroll, number 15, Cam Needon.
And Needon's kind of jammed, fouls that first pitch off. It'll be play to field. A nice play by the first baseman. That was Grant Hirschberger sliding right in front of the Northrop dugout. I don't know if the camera caught that one as it's all the way out in that corner where we really can't see a whole lot. An excellent catch. And we'll head to the top of the 7th where Northrop's got their final at-bats. Potentially final at-bats of the game. As they trail by 2, we'll keep it here for this one as a lot's going on. Carroll making some substitutions in the field. Connor Miller still in the game. He'll look for the complete game. And I believe we've got a new right fielder for the Chargers as Bransfield was pinch ran for, so Height will come out of the game after pinch running. And it'll be Peyton Monell in the game, the senior at first, or heading into right field, take over duties for Bransfield. So Carroll 3 outs away from a matchup with DeKalb in Monday's championship at 11 a.m. That'll be live here on SummitCitySports.com. We'll bring you that coverage live at 11 a.m. Stream will start about 10:45. Bit of an early morning baseball. We go from late night baseball 10:33 here out at DeKalb to a late night or an early morning matchup. And stepping in for Northrop for their final top frame, unless they can tie this thing up or take the lead, it'll be Danny Stevens. The third baseman into the game. So it'll be 6, 7, and 8 slated to go against Connor Miller at the top of the 7th inning. As that one's out 1-0. Miller delivers another ball 2-0. Base runners are the name of the game right now for the Bruins. If they can get them on and tie this thing up. The only hitter that's been able to do some damage against Connor Miller today has been Jack Hayden, who's got 2 home runs, a solo home run, and then a 2-run home run. He's driven in all the runs for Northrop thus far. But a 3-0 count to Stevens, and that's in for a called strike. So 3-1 now. Stevens thought he might have been able to take the walk, but that one just caught the plate. And another pitch in there. That one's out, so the first base runner is on. Tying run comes to the plate in the form of Luke Siren. And now we'll get a meeting in the mound as head coach Ginter just wants to calm down his sophomore pitcher as he looks to navigate this Northrop lineup one last time potentially.
Next up for Northrop, number 19, Luke Siren.
Luke Siren up, 7th hitter for Northrop. We've reached 7, 8, and 9 for Northrop. Double play is in effect. You'd like to move that runner from first if you're head coach Brumbaugh. It's Danny Steven. There's some bullpen action down in the pen for Northrop, anticipating a potential closing situation, as well as some action for Carroll. I can't get a number down there. Now we're getting some time. Sebastian Coons relaying the signs to the infield, making sure everyone's aligned properly. Runner at Stevens on first. Nobody out. And Northrop needs 2 runs or more to extend this game. First pitch strike for Connor Miller. Starts off the at-bat to Luke Siren. And that one is ripped off the bat kind of an awkward way, but Miller able to field and fire to Micah Fretz, who gets the first out of the inning. And both the Carroll coaches come from the dugout relaying instructions to the outfield. So Stevens advances to second. It was kind of a tough play to make for Miller, who had to kind of range from his offhand, grab the ball, then make the throw to first at Fretz, and it almost went wide. So a first pitch swinging strike in there on John Ummel. So 8-hitter for the Bruins. Still represents the tying run at the plate. That one's in for a called strike. Now ahead 0-2 is Connor Miller. Coach Brumbaugh relaying to Ummel. Just put it in play. Gave us a chance. Double play has been eliminated with Stevens at second on the advancement that last out. And that one's in there for a called strike 3. A big second out. And Coach Brumbaugh can't believe it, as Ummel went up there and looked at 3 straight pitches and was called out on all 3. Tough way to go down, especially in this situation. But Teron White still represents the tying run at the plate for Northrop. The first pitch he sees, he fouls off, got jammed just a bit there. And Carroll looking to close this one out and meet up with the winner of Game 1 in tonight's doubleheader, DeKalb, in the Sectional 5 championship. White slaps that one foul on the third base line. And now he's down 0-2. Northrop down to their final strike. Sebastian Coons comes out and calms down his young pitcher. 2 outs, 0-2 count, the 9-hitter for the Bruins up to plate. He represents the tying run, does Teron White. Connor Miller trying to close the door for the Chargers. He'll look, now fire. And White just got a piece of it, fouled it off. Leaves the count at 0-2. Carroll got 4 runs in the bottom of the second, and then picked up a run in the 5th, but had been quiet since. Hayden Hedge came in relief of Jack Hayden and really kept Northrop in this game. Offensively, Jack Hayden's done it all. Pitch comes in. Teron White slaps it up. It's going to be a tough play. It's in the infield. Bryce Gander ranges over and makes the play. That was a tough play, kind of out in no man's land between left field, shortstop, and third base. Reaches over his shoulder and makes the play. A big sigh of relief for head coach Ginder. And that would have been trouble had that ball played around and in, because Danny Stevens was going all the way through that one. With 2 outs, that would have been a run scored and potentially the game tying run at first base. But the threat stops there. Connor Miller goes the distance, limits Northrop to just 3 runs on 4 hits, 2 of those hits being Jack Hayden home runs. And Carroll will advance to the sectional championship once again and look to defend their title from last year against DeKalb right here Monday morning at 11 a.m. on SummitCitySports.com from DeKalb High School. It was a interesting night. These first two games in the doubleheader tonight. Very closely contested games, kind of a difference from what we saw last year. Last year's 2 games weren't very close at all on the Friday night matchup, but very good games tonight by both teams. It's a competitive sectional. I'll say that again. I said it Wednesday night. Maybe not as far as the talent and true star power in the state of Indiana in this sectional or skill level, but you're going to see these teams are very, very close as far as competitive. You saw it tonight. So the final from DeKalb. DeKalb wins the first game, 7-6 in extra innings, an 8-inning affair. Carroll wins it 5-3. Connor Miller gets the win on the mound, and Northrop's season ends at the hands of Carroll. So we will end it there for Balin Height. It has been a good night out here at DeKalb High School. Gracious host is DeKalb. DeKalb High School and Carroll rotate the sectional play tonight or this season. It's at DeKalb, and what a great sectional it's been so far. Fingers crossed the weather stays out of the forecast for this weekend and for Monday. If the weather is fine, we'll see you back here Monday. We'll pick things up where we left them off. We'll also be live Monday from the Huntington North Sectional Championship as well as here. And that will wrap things up for me once again for Balin Height and from DeKalb High School. DeKalb's a winner. Carroll's a winner. They'll have a date Monday morning right here on SummitCitySports.com.